Hello, all my crafty people out there. We have a fun project today that I kind of started thinking about it when I pulled out the picture of the Crown Royal quilt. Crown Royal quilt. And during this time of year, Crown Royal comes out with some special stuff sometimes. And they have come out with this beautiful orange bag. Of course, that's not what they actually came out with. They came out with something called salted caramel. It's a limited edition for this year. No, I'm not doing an advertisement for Crown Royal, but I love using these bags to make things with. So we're going to use this particular bag and some black label bags to make a little design on a shirt. And I have purchased a shirt. I've thrifted it, of course. It's another one of those chambray. It's that lightweight denim looking fabric. And it's just a plain button down, no pockets, nothing fancy. And I think what we're going to do, by the way, it was, can you see that? Can't get that to focus. It's $3.99, I believe. Yeah, $3.99 for the shirt. So $3.99 for the shirt, and my husband drank the alcohol, so I technically didn't pay for those bags. Anyway, what we're going to do is I want to do something kind of fallish. So I thought what I would do, there's a little tiny stain over here, or a little yellow stain, looks like mustard, of course. And I thought we would take and make half of a sunflower on this side of the shirt with the petals coming out like this. And then on this side of the shirt, which is usually backwards for me, usually I put the pocket on the left-hand side, but we're going to put it on the right-hand side this time just for that stain, so we can cover that up with the sunflower. And I have a pocket left over from a shirt that I cut up for one of my granddaughter's shirts, dresses, something. It's a very light corduroy, and it's kind of an olive green corduroy, maybe even darker than that, maybe a forest green. And I thought I would catty corner that, or angle that in a way that made it a little more interesting. So I have a pocket, and we're going to put a sunflower on this side, and then on the back, let me take this hanger out. On the back, well, we've got this nice blank canvas, which is essentially what I'm thinking of this as. We're going to have one of these, the orange bag. I'm going to cut a circle to encompass the logo. And that will be our autumn sun, kind of a dark orange sun up here in the sky. And then at the bottom, we're going to do two more sunflowers, again with the Crown Royal, and I've already cut this one out. So these will be the center of the Crown Royal flowers. So I have a bag up here that'll be a circle. Then we'll have one down here and then one up here. So I'm going to, 3 is a symmetrically pleasing number. Everybody likes it. It tends to sell well. It tends to do well. People just like 3s. So I'm going to have 2 sunflowers here. And then I have plenty of this green fabric left over from the shirt. I say plenty. That's what I got left over from the shirt. So I should have enough here to make plenty of leaves. Now I've already done a template for the leaf. And it's a simple leaf, just like the one. It's very similar, if not the same thing that we did for the sunflower pants. And I'll pop that up there so y'all can see what those are. I'll try to link it in the description as well, but it's just one of my videos. This will be the petal for the front of the shirt because it needs to be longer because that flower is going to be slightly larger. And then the smaller sunflowers on the back, this is my petal. And all I did for these is I kind of gauged how much space I had to use for petals, which if the center is going to be about 4 inches, then I figured I had enough to put maybe a 3.5 inch petal on each side and go around it. So I just measured that, found the center, then found the center of the two end parts, and drew, like this is a 3/4 of an inch on each side of that line, and a 1/2 inch on that side. That gave me that curve. It's just drawing a petal. Honestly, it's not hard, but that was my logic behind it, because I'm always afraid I can't get something straight. So petals, leaf. These will be the leaves. This is our canvas. We're using black and orange Crown Royal bags. I am not going to make these, I'm not going to make them double-sided in other words, I'm going to let them fray, because I'm going to stitch them down probably with a good zigzag stitch, like an applique. So I'm not worried about them fraying. And the only other thing that I had to add to this process, I wanted to make the petals a pretty kind of fall mustardy yellow, if that's even a word. So I had this fabric on my stash, and I thought it would go really well with this and the green and the black. So that's the plan. We all know how my plans go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out one more of this size, which this is a 4-inch, I believe, 4-inch circle. And I'm using my handy dandy circular tool. I'll show you a little video of that, of me cutting these out. So I'm going to make 2 of these this size, and then I'm going to make this orange one is going to be closer to 5 inches. And that's the limitation of these bags, is how much space you've got to work with between these 2 seam lines. And these seams are seamed with a thread you don't want near your iron. This stuff will melt. It's not good to utilize, or at least I have not found it to be so, and neither is the cord that I've found. So I don't use that part, and I make sure I cut out the seams so they're not in my way. But that's just my recommendation. I've worked with these plenty of times, and now the stitching on the actual logo is fine. It won't touch your iron. It doesn't give me any problems. It works out fine. It's just that crazy shiny stuff they use to serge the edges. It does not like the iron. It melts very fast. So we're going to get started on this. I'm going to show y'all probably a sped up video of me cutting the circles, and then we'll and maybe even cutting the petals, because I'm not really sure how many petals we're going to need. You know, we just kind of figure it out as we go. And we'll get back together when I'm trying to kind of place where they're going to be, get a good idea of what we want them to look like. All right, let's have some fun. All right, we have our circles cut out. We have 2 4-inch ones for the back sunflowers, 1 for the front, which I'm probably going to fold like that up against the button placket to put the petals around. This is our autumn sun, and of course that's our pocket. And I went through my embroidery thread and I found these colors. I'm going to use this to go around the black circle and possibly the sun, but honestly I found this and I think this will be perfect for going around the sun and around the yellow petals because I don't want to put yellow around them. I want them to stand out. And I'm just zigzag stitching, so these will probably get a little fuzzy, a little fray, but that's okay because we're looking for the kind of the rugged look. Now, I got an estimate just looking at this round as to how many petals I wanted around it and how many petals I needed around the little ones in the back. Sorry about that. And I think I need about 7 of the big ones for the front and about 24 of the little ones. Now, if I cut too many, no big deal. If I don't cut enough, I've got plenty of fabric. So what I thought for this one, I'd start here, and I think I can get 7 right down this row, the width of the fabric, because I don't really need this little tapered end. I just added it. As a matter of fact, I don't need that. So I'm going to cut it off to that. I'm going to cut it off to that. So I'm going to go ahead and line these up. And I might just go ahead and rip me a piece of fabric big enough to fit. Well, I think I might just rip this one first. If you have a good even weave, cotton, linen, that kind of thing, you should be able to rip your fabric and get a good straight line. It's also a way to test your straight line on your fabric. Now, the first time you do this can be a little terrifying, but that gives me a nice straight line. I've already ironed this fabric. So I'm going to fold it in half again. And then I may go ahead and fold it in half again and get as many of these leaves as I can. That'll give me 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think it might be long enough to do this and get all of them at once. But I'm not sure about the tip, so I'd rather not chance that. Just make sure that our salvage is not a problem. And this, if I use this at the tip or the bottom of the petal, then that's going underneath my round center anyway. So let's just try to get our first 2. And then we will fold it over and get our next 2, I think. That way we'll know for sure we got those points. I don't want to lose the point of the petal. So I'm just moving up just a hair. And y'all can see. So essentially what I've got is I've got 4 pieces of fabric right there that we're going to use. As soon as I can find my pins. Nothing fancy about this. These are petals. They're not perfection. And get me one right here. All right. And then we're just going to cut these, and I'm going to do the same thing with the smaller petals and probably the leaves as well. It's just quite a bit of fabric to cut through. Down the end here. All right, there's 4 of my petals. I'm going to finish cutting the rest, and then we'll get back together, like I said, when we're placing all of it and making sure that we've got it on the shirt where we want it. All right, I've got everything cut out, so let's start designing the front first. And I believe, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons. That should make it easy, but let's verify what we got in length. So, let's see, 18 plus 7. Yeah, that sounds right. About 25 inches. So, what we're going to do is we're going to find pretty much the center, but honestly, I think I'm just going to stick with this center button for my sunflower center, which actually is good. That's 13 inches. So that should work fine. And what we're going to need is my bigger. This one obviously is my bigger one. And we're going to center it over this area. And we're going to fold it on the edge, kind of like that. Let's see. I don't want to take too much of the Crown Royal out. Kind of the whole point. These turn out really good as blankets. Let's button one of these to make sure that when we button it, it doesn't cover up the Crown Royal either. See. Yeah, that should work. All right, so let's pin that down. And again, what we're going to be doing, I'm pinning from both sides. Didn't mean to do that. What we're going to be doing is just zigzagging around the edges to, let me do it this way so y'all can see it a little better and I can get my hands on it easier. That way I don't pin it to both sides. And I'm just roughly pinning it right now because we're going to have to put the petals behind it too. All right. So that's our sunflower center. And it's the larger petals that I've cut. They're going to go around it. So let's just kind of roughly estimate this. I'm just pushing that little straight piece underneath there. And like that. Might have to pin that. Like that. Make sure I don't pin both sides. All right. And let's take another one. Let's put it under here. All right. And then I think we're just going to need maybe 2 on each side. So let's just pull this up real quick. And sort of push these under. And again, this we're not looking for perfection. We're just looking for kind of playful fun, actually. I'm really just looking to have some fun with this. And honestly, kind of work with them here. Might have to push this one over a little. And this one too. All right, I think we're getting there. And put my hand under there again so I can stick myself. obviously. Wouldn't be a project if I didn't stick myself with a pin. At least I haven't run my hand underneath the needle on the machine. Knock on wood. So that's going to be our first flower, and that's just going to be, like I said, half of one. We got an extra petal. And then on this side of the shirt, I'll bring that down. And then on this side of the shirt, we're going to do this pocket kind of cattywampus, like this. And that's going to be just a pocket, nothing fancy about it. I guess I could put something on it, but I don't think it really needs anything. And this is going to be the same material that our leaves are made out of. I don't know if we're going to put any leaves on the front. We're going to focus that process on the back first, and then we may sporadically add some like around the edges. I think that would look cute. And I have, I think, plenty of leaves. Oh, pinned it to the other side. So like that. That'll be our pocket. And if we decide to, you know, we could put some leaves maybe down here at the bottom, kind of no real set way, just like they're kind of falling. Like that. Boop. Yeah, maybe like that. We'll see. We might not need the leaves on the front. I'm not sure. But we're going to start with this flower and this pocket. And then as soon as I've sewed those down, we'll work on the back and put the autumn sun and the two sunflowers on the back. I think that's going to be okay. Yeah. All right, let's check it out over the sewing machine. Again, we're going to be zigzagging around the edge of the pieces. Well, not this. We'll probably sew this down straight. But the edge of the pieces will be zigzagged around using these. So this gold color I'm going to put around the black center. And then this pretty kind of a coppery color is going to be around the petals, so it makes them pop out. So let's go to the machine and see what happens. Okay, everybody. I have put the pocket on the other side, since that was just straight stitching around the pocket, nothing fancy. And this is our sunflower that we have on the front that I'm ready to stitch on. And there's another way, I won't say better, but there is another way to do this where it's more secure and you don't have to worry about it moving on you, and that's using something like this heat and bond. And this is made specifically for applique. The tricky part to it is that I never remember to use it before I've cut out my shapes. And what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to heat and bond this to your fabric before you cut out all your little shapes. Then all you have to do is peel off the back and iron them on. Well, I've already cut out my shapes, so we're going to do it this way. But this is a good product, and I highly recommend doing that first before you cut all your shapes out. But you know me, thinking about it later. So, whoop, hit my light there. So I've tested out my zigzags, and I've got it set. Zigzag, I've got it the width set to 5 and the length set to 1, and that gives me a nice solid zigzag. And I just want that to go across the bottom first, because I want to catch the bottom of the sunflower that's touching the button placket. And something's wrong. No, it's not. Okay. And it's going to slip right by that button, thankfully. Now, what I did with this circle is I folded it under a little bit to create that flat edge to go up against the button placket. I'm going to take this pin out. All right. Now I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to go around the edge of the flower. And this is going to have a couple effects. One, it's going to secure the flower down, the round part, and then it's also going to secure our petals in the position that they're in. So it should make it a little easier for us to keep them in place. But I do have them pinned down. You just kind of have to work with it to stay in the round of the circle. Sometimes you got to pick your petal up a little. I mean your foot, not your petal. Just to get it to go around. The good thing is these stitches are very close. So the closer your stitches are, the easier they are to turn, generally speaking. Let me make sure that we've got everything still secured. I don't want that to be too deep in there. I don't want this one to be, all of them are on top of the other one. They're overlapping each other just in the same direction. Trying to make sure that that's maintained. I just thought it would look better. Alright, give it a little more turn. And I've got just a little bit of the black edge showing out from underneath this zigzag, and that's fine. That gives it a little bit of fray area, but if you wanted it to not fray, what you could do is like we did the other sunflower on the pants, and you can make a front and back to it. So, so you could have the seams enclosed. And that would be perfectly fine too. Actually, there's not anything that's not perfectly fine. This is your creation. You do what you want. You do what makes you feel good. All right. Now we've got the base of the flower, the center of the flower. Boop. There we go. Now you can see it. So we've got the base of the flower stitched down with our nice zigzag. There's a little bit of fringe on the side, and that will fray because these bags are cotton. They're kind of fuzzy, actually. They're more like flannel. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start going around the petals one by one, and I may fast forward through that so I don't torture you. And we'll come back when we're ready to design the back of the shirt. All of our petals in our center and our pocket are sewn on. So this is what the front looks like so far. Again, we could add to it maybe, who knows, we'll see. But that's what it will look like buttoned up. I may not wear this buttoned up, it's kind of big, so we'll see. But I like the Crown Royal. The black bag worked really well as the center of that sunflower. And I don't think we got too far off center. Maybe this petal got a little off center, but flowers aren't that perfect. So now we've got to plan the back, which is another open canvas. I'm going to pull the sides out so it'll be easier when we're pinning, hopefully. And I think what we're going to do, let's just kind of play with the parts and see how it rolls. So the parts are, we have one big salted caramel bag. That's our sun. That's our autumn sun. I know it's got snowflake on it, and I thought about finding a way to try and take that off, but I think it's screen printed, so it's good. It's there. So if we put that here, let's do a little pinning, get some basic ideas here. And then we try to position our two sunflowers. I'm thinking I want one kind of here, like that, and then one down here. And they don't have to be straight. You know, the Crown Royal can be kind of slanted. This one's a little slanted. They don't have to be straight. There just needs to be kind of a centering of them as far as from the edges, about the same amount of space. This one needs to be over a little more. And enough room to put our pretty little petals. And let's start at the top. I'm going to try and get an idea. And this one goes like this. And then here, again, you could use heat and bond. This would have probably been a lot easier if I'd done that, but I never seem to remember until I've cut all my shapes out, and that makes it a lot more difficult to do. Yada, yada, yada. You know what I mean. And if we do this, kind of get an idea of where we're going to intersect possibly, maybe not. Yeah, this will be good. We won't, I don't think we're going to get in the way of each other's flower. And then let's work on this. All right, I'm sorry it cut out, and so I took some time to finish kind of placing these where I wanted them. And now I'm really regretting not using the bond, the Ultra Bond, but life will go on. We'll get it done. I think this is where I want the flowers. And the sun is up here, but it doesn't look much like a sun. It just looks like an orange circle. So I thought we would take the leaf template that I used to cut out all my little green leaves, and I kind of folded it in half like that with the bigger side up here. And I thought maybe we could use it to make the sun rays underneath here, and it would give this a little more dimension, and maybe the sunflowers wouldn't be so overpowering. I also thought about doing some creative stitching. I've seen where people will stitch outside of the applique to give it more volume. I could do that as well. So, but I think I'm going to start with doing some sun rays. And this is the side of the orange bag. All of the Crown Royal bags are in pieces. They have a front, a back, and then they have this side seam that goes all the way around. I've used every part of this bag except this little drawstring. So let's give this a try. I think I can fold it enough where I can get probably about 8 of the rays, and I don't think I'll need that many. So I'm going to start with just cutting out the first 4 and see where we go, and then we'll cut out some more if we need some more. And like I said, I've just folded this in half a couple of times so we can get 4 out of it at one time. I was trying to think of another way that I could adhere these pieces to the back without having to pin them. And again, hindsight's 20/20. I could have used the bonding stuff, but I just never seem to think about that. I don't know why. I don't do a lot of applique. Not in that manner, and not that way. My machine does applique for me, so I don't have to worry about adhering the fabric to the backing or anything like that, or to the body of what I'm doing. Boop. I really need to sharpen these scissors. So this will give us some rays. Let's see how many it gives us. Get this all out of the way. It gives us 8, and let's see how far that gets us. So if we have 1, 2, I'll unpin this so we can get these under here. That's kind of opposite. 3, 4. Oh, that only got us 4. That's right. And so I think the 4 more will probably get us done. So I'm going to fold this last 2 pieces together and put my little pattern on here again. And pin it on there and cut it out. And that should give us enough rays to make the sun. That way it'll give a little more volume to this piece up here. I may still do the stitching outside of the applique because I think that would be a neat look, but I've never tried it before, so you know how that goes. Might be giving it a new try. Let's see if we can get some more sun rays cut out of this. There we go. It's not my neatest cut. Good thing is these will be zigzagged on, so that won't make a difference. Let's see what the rest of these look like on. So we got that. And we put 4 more on here, overlapping each other, like this. Oh, I kind of like this. Yeah. That makes it a little more of a sunshine. Got to have some rays. Well, it looks like a big orange flower too, but I think that looks better. Gives us a little more volume, a little more depth. And what I'll do is I'll do it over in the gold color that I did around the black part on the front. That way we'll get that contrast. I could even actually locate some cream color probably and do it with that to make it match the snowflake and the Crown Royal emblem. We'll see. We'll experiment. But I think that's what the back is going to look like. And I'm going to go ahead and start pinning, and if I find a better way to do the applique, I'll let y'all know before we get to the machine. All right, everybody. Got everything pinned and ready to go. And I think I'm going to start on the sun, the orange piece up here. And I'm going to run around the edge of the circle. And then I'm going to map out or sew around each of the rays of the sun. And I've put a creamy white color that should go just perfect with this. So I'm going to continue with this color scheme. And I think it'll make it stand out and look a little more dimensional. And then I will slowly but surely do these daisies. Again, smart thing to do. Some kind of bond. Did I do that? No. Is it too late to do that? I could cut out a bunch of petals in this stuff and try to match them up. And the only thing is I usually end up getting it on my iron if I don't iron it onto the whole piece of fabric, then cut these out. So we're going to do it the hard way. And I'm not going to make you watch this, obviously. But like I said, I'm going to start here. And then once I've gotten close to the end, we'll come back and I'll show you how it's looking. Alright, I just wanted to show y'all the progress. And these will iron out flat, nice and neat. They're just kind of bubbly right now because of the stitching. It is a little tight, the stitching, because it's that zigzag, but I was able to press out the front to be nice and straight, so no worries. This is our sun. And then so far with the sunflowers, I've got the middle stitched, which secures all the pieces, all the petals. And now I've got to go back and individually, and even if I'd used the bond and they would have been bonded to the fabric, I still would have had to go back and individually zigzag over 24 of these lovely little petals. So I'm going to keep going. And again, that's basically it for right now. And I'll catch y'all back here when either I'm on the last one or I'm finished, and we're going to go back to the table and try to place our leaves. Alright, y'all, I got all the flowers put on. And here's what we've got. Now, I'm not sure if I showed you when I had a pocket on it. I had a pocket put on the front, kind of lopsided. It just didn't look right. It was too big, and it just it didn't work on the shirt. To me, the design didn't. So I took it off. So now the only thing on the front is the sunflower on one side. And that would work for me. But I think it still needs something else. And this is what the back looks like. So the back has the two big sunflowers and the sun right there. But I think on the front, instead of a pocket, here's what I want to do. And I think it'll look a little more, I don't want to say symmetric, but I think it'll work better. So what I want to do, I tried the leaves on the bottom of the back, and they just didn't play out right. I don't know, they just looked forced, I guess I should say. So what I thought I would do is maybe here do the leaves like this and kind of separate them down, or not separate, trail them down the other side of the shirt to kind of balance it out. And I think this, I can't get these separated. I think this will work to give it interest in the front. And I know they're kind of evenly spaced right now, and I might play around with the spacing, but you know, I just thought this would work a little better and, like I said, give it a little more character. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to place this 12 of these, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 10. I thought I had 12. Well, anyway, there's 10 of them over here, and that's how I'm going to put them kind of back and forth down the front. I think that's going to even this out. I was playing with the idea of changing up the cuffs, but these fit me really well, and I think if I was to shorten them and put elastic or whatever, then they wouldn't fit. And I had thought about shortening them, putting elastic, and then taking some of this leftover shirt and making like a ruffle, but I'm just not sold on that. I'm kind of enjoying just this leaf addition here. Maybe that's the way that leaf needs to go. There we go. So I'm going to add the leaves, and then I think we may call it done on this shirt for now. I got a feeling it's going to get patched and added to as it goes on because it's a real comfy little shirt, and I could probably just wear it over stuff. It'll look great with jeans. And so I'll go sew these on, and then we'll come back and check it out. Okay, we're over here at the machine. I've put a pin in each of the leaves that I want to put on the front of the shirt. I am changing out my thread to be that lighter green color that I was using on the pocket that I decided not to keep. So I'm going to take this, pick up my foot so I can pull my thread. And I'm going to switch to a zigzag. Sorry, I'm not very loud right now. I'm going to switch to a zigzag. I'm going to put it at a length of 1 and a width of 5. So it seems to work out pretty well. And then I may use that little fancy stitch I used, what was it, on the pants, the jeans with the sunflowers on them. Boy, I'm on a sunflower roll. I might use that for the inside because it had kind of like a stem look. All right, let's see. I'm going to start on this first one, see how it goes, and then I won't torture y'all with the rest, and we'll come back to the table when I'm done. But let's give this a try and see if we've got it set right. Kind of got to let the machine take its own time because this zigzag is so heavy. We'll make sure it gets a chance to go all around all the curves. Which I didn't make these leaves terribly curvy. There's that moment where you might have to make a little bit of a turn. You just pick up your foot and turn and keep going. I'll pick it up one more time over here. Guess this leaf was curvier than I thought. Let's see. Whoops! I'll lose some thread. Yeah, I think that's going to work just fine. And I'm going to go through all these leaves, and then I might even press it for y'all, and we'll get back to it at the table. Just one more thing I wanted to show y'all when I'm doing these leaves. I've got all the leaves on. It ended up being 12. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 12. I'm going to go down the center of them with a special stitch, and I'll show that to you real quick. I'm going to do the first one, and it's not special. I mean, it's just another stitch that I have available to me, but it turned out really cute on the other leaves that I had on the pants, so I thought I'd give it a try on this one. And let me put this right here. I'm going to go down the center of this leaf. And I'll show y'all what it looks like. So, ends up looking like that. It's just kind of decorative, and I don't know, it makes it look more like a leaf to me. So I'm going to do that down each of those. Then we'll go back to the table and see what it looks like. And I think we might be done because, like I said, the leaves didn't look good on the back. So we'll check it out over the table. All right, I'm digging the leaves. After I pressed them, they turned out really nice. This is a good knock-around shirt with the crown royal on the big sunflower. And then our back turned out like this, which again, I'm pretty proud of. I like that. I tried the leaves on the bottom and everywhere, but they just didn't look right. So I think I'm just going to leave it this way. And here's our crown royal shirt. Hope y'all had fun. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's another idea for the crown royal bags. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the flip side of our next project.